Hi there, Elaine Marilakos Huddleston with Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. So today we're going to be talking about Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio and all the fun things that you can expect your brain to be doing and or your technology to be offering up. Could be fun. Don't assume the worst ever. Okay, so in case you don't know me, maybe you don't know that I say that the planets in astrology don't do anything to you, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you make a move, it's reflected by way of aspects and angles in astrology. How could it be different? Because you're a sentient being and you feel everything. And so that is basically a marker. It's a timing. That's all. Astrology tells you what time it is. It doesn't tell you that you are something. You tell you that you are something. Astrology just is that, oh, it's time to what? Time for what? Wealth, health, passion, purpose. That's all we're looking at. That's all it is. Don't you think that the planets are doing something to you? Then you would be a puppet. And what's the point? Right? Okay, so hey, gal, it's here. Top of the morning. Lucy, Brittany, hello. Come say hello to me. As we talk about the Mercury in retrograde, I'm going to also bring in some other planetary things that are happening, which I want you to be aware of and just jot it down in your calendars, because as you are paying more and more attention to yourself, to how you feel, to what you're creating, and I hope you are doing that, right? Of course you are, because you're a mojo mystic. Come say hello to me. Hey, Elizabeth, Vicky. Hoorah, hoorah. Okay, so if you enjoy these videos, please share, like, subscribe, comment. If you're watching these on YouTube replay, also the same. Click the little ring my bell, and then you'll be notified of all the new stuff that I have coming out. You know, folks, I pulled a card earlier and I was like, hey, this matches my blouse. I'm gonna wear this blouse, and it's the purpose card. What's your purpose? Let's talk about that. Okay, so right underway, right in the beginning, I'm just gonna ask more and more of you, because I know you can do this. I want you to get really present. Right here, right now, no matter what day you are watching this, whether you think it's live or a replay, it's live. Your brain, I've said this a million times, does not know the difference between what's real or imagined. That is a scientific fact. So, if you can create a vibration that says, oh, I'm here right now and I'm feeling enthusiastic, or I just came out of a funk because I was sick, or I was sad, or I was angry, or I was whatever, blah, blah. I can change how I feel right now. I may need a few minutes to just make that transition. I give you that few minutes. Just let me hypnotize you with the sound of my voice. And as I do, I will be talking to you about Mercury, the planet that doesn't do anything to you. It just represents how you communicate. And when Mercury, if you know where, let me see what degree we're looking at. Oh, here, I have visual aid. Hang on one second while I press the button. Ta-da! Okay. So I just clicked away, unclicked a couple of the planetary stuff just so we can focus on what I want to talk about. So you may not see Neptune, that's okay. Or you may not see the north or south nodes. You may not understand the language of astrology, that's okay. I'm here to help you interpret. So what we are looking at is, oh, that's an older one. Anyway, so, okay. Mercury is not at 10 degrees of Scorpio, but by October 17th it will be. And I just preempted myself because I wanted to talk about something a little different first. Wait, wah, Ricky. Okay. Okay, right now, Mercury is at 10 degrees of Scorpio, but it's not retrograde. That's October 8th, 2020. We are at 10 degrees of Scorpio. On October 16th, Mercury will be retrograde at 10 degrees of Scorpio and conjunct within 8 degrees. And less than 4 degrees makes it really, really intense. Not because it's intense, but because that's what you are undergoing now. As people will say, well, how is that possible? Well, because we live on many timelines. I know. It sounds like science fiction. James Cameron, are you listening? Here's your next movie. Please consult me. When you jump a timeline, you're able to be in many places at once in your mind, right? Oh, I've got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get there, I got to do this thing. But then on the volume that you don't hear, the unconscious self, the non-conscious self, you are repeating something, that trauma you had when you were 7, that amazing experience you had when you were 14, that other thing that happened 3 weeks ago, the unresolved conflict that you have with a family member, with a boss, with your own world, with your own mind, body, spirit connection. Okay, so there's so many levels. These are all on different timelines. So don't think you're not jumping timelines, because you are. So the moment you feel disabled by something, it could be anything. You're talking to someone and they say a phrase or a word, and you stop and you go, whoa, wow, that brings me back. And then suddenly you're flooded with those feelings that you had when you were 23. Mom, help me. It's like, what happens next? That's up to you, and I'm here to guide you. Okay. So what we're talking about is helping you to move through that moment so that you can actually bring all those I'm going to stop playing with the cards. Stop playing with the cards. So that you can bring all those timelines together. It's called the present moment. I want to be Bill Hader as Stefan on Saturday Night Live. I just love when he does that character. Okay. When you're aware that thing that happened no longer is a thing, you can start to release that story, because that story will become a belief, and that belief becomes your pattern, and that pattern becomes your resonance, and then that's your frequency. And so on whatever level you are spiraling, because he left you, she cheated you, they did that to you, whoops, I forgot, I feel so bad, but it's okay, I never see them anymore, why do I need to deal with it? Because it's in you. That's why you need to deal with it. So you can let go of it and release it and be done with it. Who wants to be done? I do. Not with everything, just with the stuff that's holding me back. The stuff that causes the struggle, the strife, the pain. Now there are sometimes people who will trigger a memory. Maybe you read a book and you say, oh, I can't believe it. I'm transported. I feel so magical. I feel like hope is possible. Okay, let's distinguish. Hope is a great thing. Okay, I'm going to quote Shawshank Redemption. Hope is a good thing. It's the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Okay, now let's get it into metaphysical terms, because as you, a Mojo Mystic, are ready to move beyond what is a wish, hope is a wish. Hope is, oh, I hope they have tickets left because I can go see blah, blah. I hope they have, that my favorite pumpkin juice. Whatever. I hope they have it. I'm wishing, I'm hoping. Oh, please. That means you're positive about it, but you don't really believe it's true. So the truth is what you know intuitively. Now we circle back to Scorpio, okay? Mercury it represents how you communicate. So if I saw your chart and I see, oh, you have a Mercury in Aries, you're quick, you're witty, you like to interrupt yourself, maybe you can't help it, you interrupt others, you're mostly very positive, you can multitask, not really effectively, because people don't multitask effectively. You think you do, but really, you're stressing out your body. Body, mind, spirit connection. Let's come back to what's real. And that's what Mercury in Scorpio helps you to do. Not that it's doing it, it's the timing of it. your timing. You're ready to come back to what's real. Come back to fresh fruits. I think that was from a Whoopi Goldberg show. I can't remember how long ago that was. Around the World in 80 Days. And I can't sing the song because there's a 4-letter word in it. But anyway, I just distracted myself with a word that isn't real. Distraction. So if you're ready to really get into it, to really understand that distraction that you conveniently have, sometimes it's okay. You say, oh, I hope so. Oh, I just hope so. Or I know so. There is a power in knowing. And how do you get to the knowing? Well, that comes with trust. And Scorpio is all about trust. Scorpio is guided by the planet Pluto. And the definitions from low to high are mistrust, manipulation, jealousy, on the high end, or on the mid-range, it's the ability to focus, hyper-focus. That's neither positive nor is it negative. Depends on what you're focusing on. Obsession would be the downside. Positive healing energy would be the upside. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you have Scorpio in your chart or not. You have Scorpio somewhere on the cusp of a house in your, where is it? In your chart. So that's your Scorpio. And you can also look at where 10 degrees of Scorpio is in your chart. And mine is right on top of my Neptune. So, okay, so wherever Scorpio at 10 degrees, it could be, let's call it 4 degrees through 16 degrees, that space in your chart would be, oh, I'm about to have an awareness. It's going to either upside, blow my mind in a happy way, or rip the carpet out from under me. Because the Pluto portion of the program represents the unconscious self. And Pluto is the planet that in astrology governs Scorpio. So, and before Pluto was discovered, it was Mars that governed Scorpio, both representing explosive type energy. So if you are in any situation and you know someone in your life, an employer, an employee, a family member, a neighbor who is explosive and temperamental, you gird your loins. You put an extra protective bubble around your house, around your mind and body, and say, I no longer allow that kind of energy into my life. Okay, that's first and foremost. Now, if all is Gucci and you're feeling pretty good and somebody accidentally steps on your emotional toes, your intellectual toes, and you say, wait a second, I just feel betrayed. That leads to mistrust. So in order to be betrayed, there's a part of you that has an expectation that all will go your way. Now, the information I give can sound contradictory at times or confusing because I will say, yeah, Christmas always works out for me. It doesn't matter what religion. I'm talking about the gifts. I get what I need. My needs are met, my needs are met, my needs are met, even if I don't know how to meet them. As I learn how to meet them, my needs are met, my needs are met, my needs are met. And so that is, it's lip service at first, especially if you mistrust because you had an experience, because you had a thought, or you watched what happened to them or to it. I don't know about that. I don't trust that. So, but as you start to create the affirmation that says, my needs are met, even if I don't know how to meet them. Until I'm learning how to meet them, my needs are met. That starts to build a vibration of trust. So you'll inch out toward the ocean of life and go, I'm going to stick my toe in the water and see. Are my needs met? I don't know. And you run away. Or maybe, it's cold. I don't know if that's okay. And then you have an experience and someone pulls the rug out from under you or betrays you, or on some level, it doesn't have to be like massive, blacklist kind of melodrama. It's, oh, maybe my behavior, wait a second, if I am the magnet for everything in my life because of my conscious or unconscious or non-conscious thoughts, then some part of me is sending out a vibration, a frequency that draws to me the experience. Then did I deserve to be robbed, betrayed, lied to, manipulated, coerced, seduced? Scorpio can be very seductive energy, controlled. Well, if there's a part of me that doesn't want to make a decision, then okay, you choose. It's okay. What do you want for dinner tonight? You want some Italian? Well, I was thinking Chinese, but wouldn't Italian sound good? Like manipulating with sweetness can be part of the deal. It's not exactly honest, and it's not harmful, right? It doesn't feel harmful. You're like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, come on, let's go Italian. And next time we'll do, Asian or Thai or whatever, or Indian. But wait, and then you turn around and then that happens over and over because you're allowing it to happen over and over. And then after about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, you're like, you know what? I want to do what I want to do. Stop telling me what to do. And they're like, I don't tell you what to do. I ask you what you want. And you're like, I don't know. It feels kind of slippery. There's something sketchy about the way you're doing it. And that's where the mistrust is. I don't trust you. And then suddenly you feel betrayed. But what are you really betrayed by? Your own inability to make a decision on what you want, on what you desire. Desire, Scorpio. On what you think you're worthy of having. Does that make sense? So everything outside of you is a projection. It's a manifestation of what you believe. Now you can celebrate when you say, I got a new job, or, I won the lottery in whatever area of life. Man, I won the lottery when I met my husband. But those people over there, pff. So one part of you trusts, another part doesn't. The point of Mercury in retrograde, when it stations retrograde in Scorpio, and it will on October 13th through November 3rd, that's an important date in our history, we will be able to uncover the inner betrayal, the inner mistrust. It's not about what they are doing. It's about what you believe. Making sense? Does that make sense? Let me know. Oh, let me check in. Hello. Hi, Patty. Patty, your name sounds so familiar. I don't know why. Alyssa, you have a Mercury in Gemini. Well, hang on. I am quite purpley pretty today. Perhaps. Thank you, Gallet. Okay, if you were born with a Mercury in Scorpio, in Virgo, in Gemini, you will most likely have more of a time of it. What kind of time? People ask me, what kind of time? Is that good or bad? And it's like, it's neither. It's you deciding what it's going to be. So you don't want to give your power away by assuming. I have smudges on my glasses. Pardon me while I refit. You don't want to give your power away by assuming that any reader outside of yourself has an answer that you don't. You have the answer. Sometimes, yeah, you're blown away because they say something that is so true, but you didn't realize it. And you think they gave you something. Well, they gave you an opportunity. That's what readers give you, the good ones. It doesn't matter if it's astrology, intuition, it's tarot, it's... everything's in the other room. It doesn't matter if it's runes. What matters is that the outside world sometimes has to tap you on the shoulder and give you a bridge to that inner knowing that you already have, but you're just not tuned into it. Hi, there you are. I see you now. So I think it's importante, that during this Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, that you literally take time. Any retrograde is meant to go within, to look at the inner beliefs, the inner experience, and say, well, am I done with that yet? Is it done with me yet? Let me renegotiate. Let me reevaluate. Let me review that. Let me something. Let me reread it, redo it, retry it, release it, renege on it. Let me see what I need to see. And in Scorpio, it's more of a discovery of awareness about, I said the other day on the last show, that the discovery, it's not a new aha, it's an unearthing, it's an uncovering. You're uncovering the truth now about something about yourself. Now, the topics can vary. So wherever Scorpio is in your chart, in the first house, it would deal with your personality, body parts, childhood trauma. In the second house, just a brief overview, it would deal with your investments, your income, your self-worth. That's the big one. In the third house, Scorpio would deal with how you communicate, what you think, what you really believe, and are you expressing the truth? Are you allowing yourself to be intimate? In the fourth house, it would deal with home, family, property, relationship to the maternal parent. Could be a man if you're raised in a same-sex household, or it could be your relationship to how you grew up. In the fifth house, it can be Scorpio can represent your sexual desire, your sensual feelings about creativity, children, romance, projects. In the sixth house, it's about your health, but it's also about your own health, or helping others with their health, or it's about community awareness and service. So if you've got Mercury and Scorpio in the sixth house, you wouldn't want to be speeding down the road because you're distracted. Mercury in the seventh house in Scorpio, this retrograde might represent, wait, something's a little off about my relationship to my spouse, my significant other, my high-end clients, or the adversaries in my industry. Or if you don't have any partners, I need to figure out why I won't let that happen. Mercury in Scorpio in the eighth house is more about your financial arrangements with others. Could be estate planning, insurance matters, your sensuality, your sexuality. If you've ever been abused on any level, this is a great time if you've got Mercury and Scorpio in the eighth house transiting. I don't mean born with it. I mean like the transit that's happening now. To get into some counseling or to look at where else can I put my money, my time, my energy, my joint resources. Do I really want to partner with that person? Mercury in Scorpio in this looks like if you're an Aquarius rising, it's most likely going to be in your ninth house, depending on the degree. So if it were 24 degrees, it would be in the 10th house of career, right? Does that make sense? So if you have Mercury and Scorpio in the ninth house, you're looking at contracts. You're looking at how to market yourself for others. You're looking at what you really believe is true. Philosophically speaking, or religiously, or spiritually speaking, or politically speaking, and are dealing with travel. Like, oh, I had to cancel that trip. Now I got to keep calling the credit card company to make sure that they don't double charge me. Mercury and Scorpio in the 10th house transit. That's what we're looking at now, is the transit. Not if you were born with it, because that's a different placement. Then that would be my career. What do I really want to do? I think I'm done with this, or those people, or competition. I wanted to be this, but now I don't. So maybe it's time to study, especially if Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio in the 9th or 10th houses. You might be thinking of I want to take a new study course. Mercury in retrograde in the 11th house, it could be, I don't know if I vibe with my friends anymore, or that person, or why don't they vibe with me? Why don't they call me anymore? Or that membership that I'm a part of, or was a part of, or the information that I'm getting from some people in those groups. I don't know if I trust that. Mercury in Scorpio transiting your 12th house can deal again with health and your psychological, psyche, emotional, spiritual connection to what's really true and why you have chronic anything. Chronic thoughts, chronic illness, chronic, I want to call it a disability that stops you from embracing. It's all about fear. I mean, everything's always about fear. So if you're stopping yourself, you want to dig deep, but especially with Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Does that make sense? That was just a quick run through. So, Judy, you do not have to ever apologize for being late. And, you know, we're all going to be doing what we're doing and helping ourselves and other people. Always make time for yourself. Hey, Casey, big smile. So wherever Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio is transiting in your chart, you will come up against some of those topics, or they will be presented to you. But those things weren't created by other people, because you always have a choice. And I know it's really hard to look at the world and the violence in the world and say, well, they didn't have a choice, that child that was kidnapped or killed or murdered. We don't always see the karma with what a person is undergoing, but it motivates us to enact justice, doesn't it? Which brings me to the next topic. October 13th through, well, it depends on where you live in the world, but October 13th through October 27th or 28th, Mercury will be retrograde in Scorpio. Then it will retrograde back, because it, from our position and vantage point from the Earth, it looks like it's moving backwards. It's really not. It's just the way we all the planets are moving on the ecliptic plane. Some move faster, some move slower, some are on the outer planets, or some are inner. Mercury is the fastest one, goes around the sun the quickest. And so October 27th and 28th, depending on where you are in the world, Mercury will then retrograde back into the sign of Libra. So we go from trying to uncover, what's our truth with certain topics? What do we really believe? Not what we hope. Where do we feel mistrust, betrayed, or so profoundly affected or affecting others in a place of healing? Because ultimately, Scorpio represents the phoenix rising from the ashes and having that cellular core level transformation. Big time. And that can mean a departure from your body. Some people might actually start to meditate more and then astral project. Other people might decide, I'm still me. My body needs to renovate something. I need to undergo a renovation. Pluto, Scorpio, is about construction, deconstruction, degeneration, regeneration. So it may be, I need to go to the doctor, or I'm really not feeling good. I need to stop, eating all that sugar, or taking those chemicals that are, I feel dizzy after, or whatever it is, so that you have power, because ultimately Scorpio and Pluto represent power, your power. And when you give it up, and when you disregard it, ignore it, or exert it to such a point where you're trying to manipulate or control someone so that you feel safe, so that you have trust. So these are and there's no judgment on any of it. It's just becoming aware. That's all. Just become aware. So, but when we move from that vibe into Mercury moves back into Libra, then we're looking at, and that again is October 27th or 28th, wherever you are in the world, to November 3rd. Here in America, that's called Election Day. And so when we look at Libra, the energy is going to shift a little bit, because once you do all that uncovering and digging up, now you're going to want to harmonize it and say, oh, I get it. Damn, dang, yikes, wow, crap, and other expletives, that I am responsible for everything in my life. And that can make you weep. That can help you to heal. That can give you such ahas, especially if you are a Scorpio sun rising or moon, or were born with Mercury in Scorpio in your chart. You might think, Dang. All right. Now what? I got to let that go so I can move on. I got to be honest. Sometimes there's a lot of secrecy surrounding a Scorpio vibe. And it can be, this is the perfect opportunity for you to start raising your level of intuition. Because on the more proactive side, Scorpio represents a powerful, just powerful, intuitive knowing. And sometimes it's almost like an intellectual knowing where you see people talking and they're saying something, but you look at their body movement and you see the contradiction and you see their face smiling, but you look at their body expression and you're like, something's up. What's going on there? What's that about? So you have the ability now through the 27th of October, and we're already in the pre-phase, so don't think you can't do it. And then we're going to talk about October 17th, so hang tight. Don't think you're not intuitive. You are intuitive. I want you to be very aware of every moment you feel something and then seek validation for it. I don't mean from other people like, tell me about me. No, I mean, oh, my feeling is this. And then suddenly you get a phone call, an email, somebody mentions something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I said this morning to my sister, or that's what I said last night to my husband. And here it is. It's happening. Right? That's validation. So when you see that your vibe is being validated and it's an intuitive, into me, you see, intimacy, that's really the body, mind, spirit connection at its height, at its expansion. So you're channeling something. You're really opening to something. And so then comes Libra and the sun in Libra. And you're thinking, all right, now I'm going to harmonize that. Justice is Libra's middle name. Justice. Don't tell me. I saw what happened. Scorpio. I understand the truth now. And the truth does what? You know, it sets you free. Whee! So once you go to that place of, wow. And it could be the tiniest little thing. It doesn't have to be some big dramatic whatever. Aha. It's like, oh, wow. I didn't realize, I just learned how to use something in my computer. What? It blew my mind. And I was so happy. I was so happy. And from there, it's, well, if that's possible, what's next? Not, oh no, what's next? You see the difference? It's, if that just happened, anything else is possible. I'm so excited. So that's where you want to look at. That's where you want to go with this vibe and this energy. And October 17th is going to be a huge marker for you on how exactly to use that intuition and to come out of cynicism, because Scorpio on the downside can be very cynical. Very cynical. Looks for the validation of cynicism through external means. It's that cognitive dissonance, like, told ya. So if you believe anything long enough, strong enough, it's going to show up. That's how manifesting works. If you believe, now, okay, wait, let me just, the 6-year-old in you might say, I know that unicorns exist. And if you never see one and you're disappointed, think about the magical realms that don't show themselves. So you can believe in a unicorn. I certainly believe in the Fae world. I've seen them. And I understand that they come, where they come from and where they are. And there's no business, like show business, like no business. Okay. If you don't have business with people, they're not going to make themselves known to you. But if you do, you can still have that belief that, when our kid said to me at a very young age, do you believe in Santa Claus? And I said, well, St. Nicholas was a real person, sweetie. And he was kind. And he took care of children, especially those who were orphaned, and he made sure that they had clothes and he gave them gifts. I said, so I believe in the spirit of compassion that St. Nicholas was and is. That's all they needed to hear. My kid was like, okay, good. I'm good with that. And so that definition is a little bit different than the, traditional commercial, but we still celebrate. And it's the joy of giving and nurturing and compassion. So that's where we went with that. So, if you start to believe something is true, and you will create energy vibes that produce evidence. So you want to be, I crack you up. So you want to be, thank you, Christine says I crack her up. So you want to be really aware of what is true for you, what's really true for you. I got a little too intimate with my microphone. So now let's talk about October 17th. That is the marker for so many in this world, a turning point. We can start on the 16th. 17th is the day. Trail off to the 18th, okay? But on the 17th, the moon in Scorpio will conjunct the same degree as Mercury in Scorpio. And because Mercury is retrograde, because we'll be entered into and look at all the other retrogrades, okay? And Uranus, we don't see Neptune here, but Neptune's also retrograde. So Uranus, eclectic, space, music, technology, Mars, action, momentum, intention. And with Mercury conjuncting the moon, you're going to feel something very deeply. Now, this feeling can be an aha because of all you're uncovering. It can be a disappointment. But remember, folks, disappointment only comes via expectations. I know. It's so, sometimes we just want to go, it's your fault. You did that. Now look at the mess I have to clean up. Because that's our reaction. And so get that out of your system and then stop and say, well, where can I take responsibility for that? When the moon, and I don't mean take responsibility for someone else's actions. I mean, take responsibility for, okay, that's happening. I need to either shield myself from that. That's a Scorpio thing, to be secretive or protective. And Libra is very protective. Libra demands justice. Now, on the downside, Libra energy is very, remember from October 27th, 28th through November 3rd, Mercury will be retrograde in Libra. So at that point, it's looking at, well, I don't know. I felt a big shift around October 17th, and I had a breakthrough. I realized my behavior. I realized that my thoughts were creating something that I was not aware of before. No judgments, no suffering over your suffering. Or I realized the solution. I'm thrilled because Mercury is going to be opposing Uranus. So you might be able to glean information or get to the answer or the solution for yourself or others via music, science, technology, or anything dealing with astrology, using the elements in nature to say, I feel better, I can think clearer when I'm taking a shower or in a bath. I mean, it's that simple. Or when I'm doing some forest bathing, I take off my shoes and I stand on the earth near some big trees. The elements are really, and why I say that is because of Taurus, which is an earth sign. So you're planting, you're digging, and then we add Venus to the mix in Virgo. We're pruning, we're eliminating the thorns, the debris, and where it goes to is the trio that we will never see again in our lifetime, like this. So all of these things that converge in the month of October show you have an ability to literally change the weather ultimately you could change the weather, but you can imagine everybody was like, I wish it would snow. No, I want rain. No, I wish it were 90 degrees. No, I wish it were 40. We would we would go insane if we all were so adept and we could do that. But you can change your emotional weather and your intellectual weather. It's like learning how to fly. And when you fall down, it's nobody's fault. It happens. But I digress. So when we look at all this stuff and we say, okay, October 17th-ish, I'm just going to see, maybe it's a moment of, oh my gosh, I suddenly realized I'm not hurting. Maybe, you were working out or you've been recovering from an illness, or you were sad, or you were angry. There's a lot of fury that comes with Mercury in retrograde and Scorpio. A lot of indignance or scorn, and the blame wants to come. So let's shy away from that, but just move more toward, oh wow, okay, you know what? I feel better. I feel better. It could be that simple. But feeling is going to be the key word on October 17th. And it can be, I feel powerful. Or, hey, maybe you're on a new exercise, diet, whatever program, and you're postmenopausal and you're raising your libido, and you suddenly might say, wow, whoa, there's a feeling I haven't felt in a while. Wow, that was exciting. The ride. So you discover something, you uncover it first. The stuff that doesn't need to be there. And then everything else that I'm looking at that falls into place is your ability to transmute energy, to fix that gadget or invent something. This is also invention. And maybe you have that ability to, I know you have the ability, but it depends on if you have the belief that you have the ability, the awareness. So Uranus represents astrology, science, technology, big-time gadgets, machinery, industry, even though Mars represents, machines and weapons of war, and also automobiles, things that can move faster, get you there faster. The speed of the Uranus vibe is elusive. It's like going from a wooden wagon cart to a jet engine. So sometimes you don't see the speed at which you are traveling, but sometimes you sit down and you meditate and you get quiet and you say, I suddenly had a realization. Pow. That was at the speed of light. You see? So a lot of these changes are going to be internal. We may see the changes in the world, not just in the election politically, but also things that are being designed right now. Gadgets and devices, electronic things and doodads that help your life become that much easier. So I want you to just, ride this wave, but also the moment the fear comes up, the moment the rage comes up on the downside or the mistrust, that's when you just have to find a way to move that energy, and that can be music. That can be technology, that can be astrology, that could be meditation or chanting, that can be yoga, anything where Tai Chi or riding a bicycle or with a helmet, because we have retrogrades. Mars represents the head and the blood system. So you want to be able to move in a way that says, I had a client who said to me not too long ago, I said, how is everything going with the project? Oh, really great. But you know what? I don't feel so good. I'm like, I'm sorry. What's going on? No, literally, I should probably work out. I don't even walk. I'm like, what do you don't? Well, I walk from here to there to go food shopping, but I don't move my body. I said, oh yeah, sedentary. We're going to go right to the bones. The bones, osteoporosis, osteopenia, which is the precursor to osteoporosis. Now, thinking that you have to get certain kinds of injections, please triple, quadruple check those. Or that you suddenly are given, like, here, take some calcium. Well, what kind of calcium is it? Too much calcium can actually break things down. You have to research, talk to many doctors, talk to people who've been there, done that. And, calcium carbonate is like chewing on rocks. You don't need that in your body. You can't absorb that. So there's other kinds of calcium that you can get from food and nutrition, from certain supplements, from a combination of things. So you need to know how your body works, right? So as you look at and you research my bones, my teeth, my skin, my hair, my nails, that's the basic structure of your body. Remember, we're always coming back to body, mind, spirit connection, because it's all of it. Can't ignore one. Oh yeah, you can. And then suddenly, oh, my neck. It's like that trigger finger is acting up. Well, you need to research what can help you. And that's the scientific part. You want some clinical studies. You want some input from experts to help you. Does that make sense? Okay, but we're setting a new structure here so that when we go from, I have to uncover something that doesn't feel right, to the October 17th of, oh, wow, I feel something. And again, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be something so simple as, oh my gosh, I think I'm retired now. I think I can go play. That's weird. What do I do with my time? That's kind of creepy, fun, happy, I don't know what. So you're going to undergo whatever you're going to undergo because it's you and nobody's going to have the same experience. But remember that when we move into Mercury retrograde from Scorpio to Libra on October 27th, 28th through November 3rd, and then Mercury will go forward again from Libra to Scorpio. You're going to have completion by, I'd say, early December, right before the eclipses. We're going to talk a lot about the eclipses coming up in Sagittarius. But right around that time, between now and, say, the first couple of days of December, you're on a mission to uncover something, whether you realize it or not. And if you have any complaint whatsoever that is a repetitive complaint about how your life is organized, the actual structure of your house, the structure of your body, all of the bones, the skin, the teeth, the nails, the hair, everything that helps you to move forward, anything that is sedentary, anything that accumulates, energy needs to move. So it's not about going to extremes either. It's not about, I'm going to sign up for that online class and I'm going to town, and then you're like, oh, my shoulder the next day. So no extremes. It's, I want to realize that I am responsible for what's in my life right now. No judgments. It's not good and it's not bad. It's what it is. Do you like it? If you do, keep going. If you don't like it, takes a little bit more uncovering of what's the feeling behind the issue that is recurring, that is repetitive. That's what I'm saying. And then we want to harmonize it in Libra and say, oh, I need to. And if the person who you've had angst with or sadness or whatever is no longer on this earth, they still exist. They do. So you can write them a letter. You could talk to them. You can light a candle, close your eyes, say a prayer. You can, have fun. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it was a Zoom meeting, and he said to me, wait a minute, I see, and I went, oh no, he said, I say, and I went, I say, well, I say, and he said, he looked at me and he said, what's that from? And I said, I don't know. And he said, that sounds like, what was that cartoon with the big rooster? And I was like, Foghorn Leghorn? He said, yeah. And I said, pay attention to me when I'm talking to you, boy. And I said, you just channeled my father. That was my father's favorite character. And he would walk around and talk to me, and he'd look at me and he'd go, pay attention to me when I'm talking to you. And I go, Dad, you're doing a foghorn. And the guy just cracked up. He goes, I love that cartoon. I go, you and my husband and my dad. I've never heard anybody else talk about Foghorn Leghorn. So things will start to open up and you'll start to channel. You can be connected to spirit and energy at all times because that's what you are. You're an extension of the light. You exist here, now, everywhere. You're pure conscious love. That's what you are. What do you want to do with it? I think I've chatted on quite a bit. Let me just check in. Judy says, now I feel balanced. Hooray! Can you balance like a deck of cards on your head and not have them fall? You've entered beauty school. Okay, folks, does that make sense? Is this helping? So, okay, next week I am visiting my kid in Portland. So I don't know if I will be here on Monday. I may be forest bathing or going out to lunch or breakfast or something. I don't know. But I'm going to do my best, and I will let you know on either Sunday night or Monday morning if I will be showing up. I have some appointments out there to have some fun, get a Reiki, get a massage, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm going to pull a card now that I've been playing with them for 50 minutes. Thank you, universe. From all the tribes, from all the galaxies that send us love, that support us. This is helping. Casey says, I still don't want to do anything. Then don't. Or if I say, don't do anything, you're like, I'll do what I want. In fact, I'm going to go do that thing right over there right now. Don't you tell me I can't do anything. Don't do anything. Go have fun. Stare, write. Brittany, you're amazing. Well, thank you. Oh, no cry. That's so sweet. Okay, Brittany, you're amazing too. In fact, wait a minute. This is for everybody. Everybody. Okay? Where are you? Hell, in case you don't know this, all right? Pass it on. No, we're never gonna survive unless. Okay, calling it in. Hang on. I always want to say, what's her name from Frasier, the housekeeper? Say, she'd shake somebody's hand. Hang on, I'm getting something on you. Hang on, something's coming. Oh, okay. So, pay attention, I'm being told. Pay attention to how you feel, not just emotionally, but physically. Physically. So if you're walking, you have an ache or a pain, your body's speaking to you, as soon as you are possibly able to sit down and do a little writing, right hand, left hand. Your non-dominant hand, you could be a left-hand person, which means your non-dominant hand will be your right hand. If your right hand is your dominant hand, then your left hand is your non-dominant hand. And put two different pens in your hand and start writing. On the dominant side, you say, hey, you got a little creak in your back or your knee or your toe or whatever. And the left hand is like, yeah, oh, do you want to talk about it? And the left hand goes, or the non-dominant hand says, yeah, I'm just so tired right now. And I'm really missing, blah, blah. Or I'm just a little scared right now. That's where you want to go. Also pay attention not to just the emotion, but to the feeling in your body. The feeling in your bones, in your skin, in your teeth, it's like, ow, what's that? And there's different associations with the body. The teeth, every tooth represents a different area of your body. Every part of you represents some other part of you. Excuse me. All right, so that's what I'm being told to share with you. Yes, absolutely. And then, whoa. Okay. Yes, that's a Scorpio talking right there. And then, oh. How many cards? Okay, so we're going to go with this. The first one that came out was present moment. Got to be present. You've got to be present. You're the gift. Got to be present. You're the gift. Got to be present to make that vibe. Got to be present to make that change. Got to be present to manifest. Then here comes the desire. That's a Scorpio vibe, okay? Desire. What do you really desire? And I'm not talking the low vibe, like, yeah, I want $1 million. Yeah, I want to have sex with everybody. Yeah, I want to, I'm talking about, what is your heart's desire? What have you wanted to do for a long time? And maybe you can't because of COVID restrictions, or maybe you can't because of if it's with a person and they're not in town, or they're not on planet, they're off planet. There are ways that you can still engage in what you desire. So that's where you meditate and let it come to you. Uncover that part of you that has the answer. All right. Then you need to detach. Detach from outcomes, because when you detach from an outcome, that's when you start believing that you can have it. Okay. And I've talked about this before. Wanting makes more wanting. I want it. I desire it. And then you act out the things to go get it. And then after a while, you're not getting it. You get a little bit, but you don't get it at all. And you're like, but I want it. And then it gets bigger. The wanting gets bigger. If the wanting gets bigger than the actual manifestation of it, then what happens is you're too attached to the outcome. So detaching, letting go, saying, I trust my needs are met, my needs are met, my needs are met. Seriously, really, not like lip service, like, oh yeah, I trust my needs are met. When is it coming? I want it, I want it, I want it. How come I'm not getting it? How come I'm not getting it? Because then the focus becomes, I don't have it. And the I don't have it focus gets bigger. And the universe says, you want that? Okay, we'll give you more of that. No. Let it go. Detach. You can form a bubble of what you want. Create an energy ball. It's like a thought form that you put your thought in it. You put the thing that you would desire in it. And if you're acting on it, you can act on it. A certain amount of time a day, an hour, 20 minutes, 5 hours, whatever. But eventually you let it go, and then you trust that it's coming. So you put that ball of energy on top of your dresser, or when you're on your kitchen counter, and you go, it's not ready yet. So you pick it up again and you start really focusing. You're putting your intention and your vibe, body, mind, spirit, into that ball of intention of the desire. And then you go, you know what? Bye. See ya. Because as soon as you feel that you are one, that's when you get what you want. That's when you get what you desire. Does that make sense? Christine says, thank you. My kidney has been telling me I have to look into my water quality and the amount of water. Not just the water quality, but the amount of water. But yes, go do that. Oh, wow. Going deaf in one ear. That usually happens when I'm being spoken to simultaneously by many. So any last words? Okay, I got to wrap it up now. I got to move along. Apparently, somebody's trying to call me. So I have to go plug my phone back in. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. As always, I wish you peace. I will do my best to get to you from Portland. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm leaving it open too because, it's a retrograde vibe and I'm already distracted. But we'll see how it goes. All right, folks, be well. Be happy. Be you. Let me get rid of that. Be present. Yay. Bye. Go have a cookie.